Today I'm going to talk to you about fruit tree pruning. Fruit trees are a great way to add variety to your market without adding too much extra work. One thing that does need to be done on an annual basis is pruning. Pruning encourages proper growth so you can get the maximum yield possible. Before we start pruning, it's necessary to talk about the architecture of the tree. Right here we have a red limber twig apple tree. Apple trees like to have what's called a central leader. A central leader is one central piece of wood that's coming from the rootstock to the sky, surrounded by branches that go around it. The purpose of having a central leader and branches coming around it is to encourage sunlight and room for the apple to produce. And I'm going to talk about two kinds of pruning techniques today. One is called a thinning cut. Thinning cut is used to remove diseased branches or branches that simply shouldn't belong. It's a complete removal of that branch. The second type of cutting I'm going to talk about today is a tipping cut. Tipping cuts are used to encourage branching at various angles without completely removing the branch. So the first thing that I'll do when I come up to an apple tree is I'll just walk around it. I'll appraise the tree in its entirety to see how it's growing. So the first thing that I notice here is a competing central leader. So right now I have a decision to make. I need to make the tree know which branch it will consider its central leader. This helps the tree have proper growth so it can have that maximum yield we were talking about. So to me, this looks like the central leader is coming here. It's coming pretty straight, and this one looks like it's coming out to the side. So I'm going to show you how to make a thinning cut on this branch. Whenever you're making a cut on a branch, you want to make sure that your clippers are sterilized and that you're making a cut cleanly. You don't want to leave extra wood to decrease the possibility of disease. When you're making the cut, you want to make sure it's cut at an angle. An angled cut will make sure that water does not stagnate on the branch and will not produce rot. So I'm just going to come out here. I'm going to make sure that there's nothing in its way, and I'm going to want to cut a few millimeters above where it's branching off. And so that was a pretty clean cut. It could have been better, but it was pretty good. So that's how you do a thinning cut. The next kind of cut I'm going to show you is a tipping cut. And this is kind of like a chess match. You want to think strategically about where you want your branches to be growing. So with this, because the central leader is coming here, I want branching, looking at this branch, I want branching to be coming off this way. So you're thinking a few years down the road. You won't see the results of this immediately, but allows you to look into the future and see how you want the architecture of your plant to be. So as I see here, I know I want the branch coming off somewhere around here. And one thing that you can do, you can actually take any thinning cuts that you have and use them to judge where your buds will be. So if you look closely here, you'll see buds coming off of the tree. And those buds all have the potential to become another branch, and in the case of horizontal branches, an actual fruit. So I know I want the branch coming off around this angle, so I'm going to be looking to cut around here. And so I see that there are a few buds coming off in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this looks like actually a very good area to cut. With tipping cuts, you want to make the same angled cut, and you want to make sure it's a few millimeters above that bud. And this will prevent any water from coming down and pooling on the bud and having that rot. And it will also, by you leaving a few millimeters, it'll also make sure that that bud has enough wood to produce that energy to come out. So any one of these buds could be activated. And so we just don't know until a few years down the road. Or actually, in this case, it may be a few months. So once I find the place that I want, I'm going to come back and I'm going to have that tipping cut away from the bud. Like so. And there you can see, also wasn't the cleanest of cuts, but that should suffice. And there you have how to do a tipping and a thinning cut. Happy fruit tree pruning!